moments after each win that I don't see a team celebrating. I see the faces of a team on a mission. What's this team's mentality as the series shifts back to Houston?
You know, our togetherness is unreal here. It's been like that all season, and we're a very competitive team. You know, we want to definitely win every game as much as possible, but we stick together, and I think that's what's really getting us over the hump throughout this whole season.
And you now have an opportunity to finish this series at home. What will you recognize from the opening jump about your team that says we're ready to move on to the conference finals?
First quarter. If we play well in the first quarter, we're going to play well throughout the whole game, and that's just been who we are throughout this whole season.
So Chris Paul had arguably his best game of the playoffs in the previous game for the Houston Rockets to beat the Utah Jazz. How important is it to have a guy like that when it seemed as if James Harden struggled a bit in that clutch situation? It was Chris Paul picking up the slack.
Well, you know, Houston over the last couple of years, they haven't had that second guy that you can just give the basketball to and say, hey, give me a bucket or make something else happen when Harden, you know, kind of is having an off night. Chris Paul is that second guy, and you can give the ball to him. You can put it in his hands. He can get somebody else a shot. And then when they switch a big guy on him, he's good enough to get to that mid-range spot, Smitty, that foul line, and he's deadly from in that area. So it's important that Chris continues to play that way.
You know, like you said, Chris is one of those guys, even though he shot a lot more threes this year with that system and Mike D'Antoni's system, but he still gets to that free throw line. He understands if Rudy Gobert is not going to step up when that pick and roll, I'm going to come off one dribble, two dribbles, and knock it down. But he also is understanding is let me drive, get into the paint, and kick it. He's just not living by the three. I think that's helping the Houston Rockets.
Well, Houston's also 10-6 this year when they shoot under 30% from three-point range. Last season, just 5-13 when they did that. That speaks to their defensive identity this season. I mean, in their 3 wins over Utah in this series, they've held them under 100 points every single time. Houston getting wins in the playoffs with defense. I mean, that's a different formula than they've used the past couple of years.
I think P.J. Tucker on the wing has brought that toughness, and obviously Trevor Ariza has always played tough. But in the past, it seemed like it was just Trevor Ariza. Now you have P.J., now you have Trevor. Then, oh, by the way, that old Clint Capella is back there.
Oh, yeah.
He's
blocking shots in the fourth quarter.
Like Dikembe. He's standing there blocking shots, and I think he's getting excited about blocking shots and also defending. So, for me, if Clint Capella keeps playing at this level, Houston's going to be a tough out. I can't wait to get a chance to see Houston and the Warriors. Because I'm saying it's going to be Houston and the Warriors.
Yeah, I think we all been looking for that matchup the whole season. And there's been such drama leading up to it, you know. But at the end of the day, we know it's going to be Houston, Golden State. But I still just got one question. Who's going to guard Kevin Durant?
Yeah, that's hard.
I mean, there's a matchup for everybody in the game.
Except him?
Yeah, I was going to say, Isaiah, whoever truly guards him. Correct.
I mean, this is probably maybe only the second time in the league that I've been in or seen where there's really no matchup for this one guy. Like, there was no one matchup for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? And when I look at Kevin Durant, I don't see a matchup for him. Kareem had the skyhook, and everybody you talk to, they said, hey, man, ain't nothing you can do about the skyhook. It's the skyhook. So he had that one shot. Kevin Durant has the crossover three that you can't put a big man on him, right, because he got the crossover and the skills. Then when you put a little guy on him, I mean, he's shooting over the little guy like, hey, you down there, check this out. Bop. You know, so he's the one guy that there's no matchup for right now in the league.
Well, we have an update on tonight's game between the Philadelphia 76ers. Look at that in the Boston Celtics, starting T.J. McConnell over J.J. Redick in Game 4. That's from Gary Washburn.